It's Wrestling on the Spectrum with Brody the Brain Herman. He doesn't just watch wrestling, he decodes it. From the deep history of wrestling to today's matches in the ring and beyond. Get a deeper dive in the world of professional wrestling. And now, here's Patrico, Flying Ryan, and Brody the Brain Herman. This is Wrestling on the Spectrum.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wrestling on the Spectrum. Ryan and Tony, how are you all doing today?
Oh, man.
I'm doing great.
It is a beautiful day outside here in St. Louis, Missouri. Welcome, everyone, to Wrestling on the Spectrum, part of the Podcast Heat family. A big thanks to our sponsors, Brown & Crouppen, online at getbc.com. My name is Tony Patrico, and you spell that Patric.
Oh, baby!
And we are so excited today, joined by Flying Ryan Swingler. Ryan, how are you? Good? Ready to talk some Backlash?
Oh, I'm great, man. I'm ready to talk Backlash.
Oh, baby, I'm excited for tonight. Brody, how we feeling? We good? We ready for
I'm
this?
feeling great for Backlash. It's going to be tonight at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. The first hour will be on ESPN2, but of course, if you're listening to the show, you probably already have the ESPN app, and you probably already have the ESPN Unlimited plan. If you don't, get the ESPN Unlimited plan. That's right. It is going to be at Backlash tonight in Tampa Bay, Florida, at the Benchmark International Arena, home of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Today, we will give you our predictions for tonight's Backlash. We will talk some developing stories in the world of professional wrestling. Also, really excited to dive into, we're hearing that there is a new season of Dark Side of the Ring, so we'll give you that. And of course, the passing of a very integral part of the world of professional wrestling. We'll get to that in a second here as well. But again, if you are listening to this on the podcast, let's say it's Tuesday and you just happen to come across this podcast, we are live every Saturday on YouTube. You can get involved. You can chat with us, just like our friend Willie in the chat room now saying greetings from the Pacific Northwest. Check us out. Coast to coast, Brody. Coast to coast with Wrestling on the Spectrum. So we welcome you guys in. If you have questions or comments or your thoughts on things that are going to happen tonight at Backlash, feel free to comment in. Now, Brody, Backlash is, and we've mentioned this before, kind of a transition PLE. I mean, it is,
It's a PLE right after WrestleMania, Tony.
Right. It's the thing that kind of either sets up new stories, kind of wraps up some loose ends
we shouldn't
from
be expecting
Mania.
any title changes tonight.
Nothing crazy tonight.
Correct.
However, nowadays, you never know.
You never know.
I mean, it could be something crazy tonight. So, Brody, real quick, kind of walk me through this card. Let's go match by match here.
All right.
And let's dive into what folks can see and expect from WWE's Backlash tonight from
Absolutely.
Tampa.
To kick it off, John Cena is going to give an historical announcement, probably about Club WWE. And of course, John Cena lives in Tampa Bay, Florida, or at least has a residence there. So it's no problem for him at all to show up at the arena, even though he just hosted WrestleMania. Why not have him host Backlash and give an historical announcement about Club WWE? Or it could be about something else. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll see.
If it is Club WWE, they have dropped the ball on this announcement epically. And I'll tell you why. If you are going to say, and even have John Cena come out and go, oh, he's going to make an announcement that's going to change the landscape of professional wrestling, stop tweeting about it then. All week long, all WWE has done has tweeted John Cena talking about Club WWE. If this is what the announcement is at Backlash, you're going to get Backlash because you blew it. You say he's got a big announcement, a big surprise, and then we're just going to promote it all week? Stupid if that's the case. I hope and I pray that it's something different.
And isn't Club WWE just like you get special treatment?
It's for people that have an ungodly amount of money.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not rich enough to do that.
Club WWE is for green shirt guys.
There you go. I'm just going to say that.
That's what this is. Because okay, I get it. If WWE, for whatever reason, would come to St. Louis 4 times a week or 4 times a year, this might be worth it for you. But WWE is going to come here twice a year. this ain't going to be worth it for you. You pay this massive subscription amount. You get like a lounge to go in before, meet and greets with probably people like Otis and Maxine. And then
I wouldn't mind meeting Maxine.
Okay, all right. I get what you're saying there, but you know what I mean? Like, they're going to promise you WWE meet and greets, and you're going to get there, and it's going to be Kit Wilson, which I'm not downplaying anything. That's really awesome, but they're going to promote it like you're going to meet The Rock.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen.
That's not going to
happen.
happen.
You're going to go back there, and it's going to be like, oh, okay, cool. Gerald Briscoe's here. Awesome, but not what people are expecting. You know what I mean? Like, this is how they
Briscoe's
do
a
it.
Hall of Famer, though.
Listen, I know, but you get what I'm saying.
I know what you're
you
saying,
go,
Tony.
You go expecting that you're going to shake hands with Jey Uso, and it ain't going to be Jey Uso, you know? So, I mean, this is a subscription service, at least, that is for, that is for, you know, folks that spend a ton of money at WWE events. If you are going to take and make a huge deal of this, which WWE has, I mean, dude, I really hope that this is not the announcement that he's going to make. If he gives details about Club WWE, they will get eaten alive tonight for that.
They probably will. But here's the first match I want to talk about. The Miz and Kit Wilson versus Danhausen and the mystery partner. Will ESPN have a say in who the mystery partner is for Danhausen?
Yes.
Considering Danhausen's been on ESPN all week long, who does everybody think the mystery partner will be?
Ryan, I want your thoughts first on who you think the mystery partner will be.
If it's a wrestler, I got CM Punk. If it's a journalist, I don't know. It's gonna be like Stephen A. Smith or something.
So okay, let's say just you have to give us one name. Who do you think it is?
CM Punk.
CM Punk. Okay, Brody, what about you?
I'm gonna actually pick Kevin Owens as a returning star. I've seen him on LFG, and I think he's ready for an in-ring return. Wouldn't be a bad spot for him.
Okay, you ready for this?
Yep.
Back before Mania.
Yep.
It was Randy Orton with Pat McAfee in his corner versus Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
And what was the reported match that people were saying was
Cody Rhodes and Jelly Roll versus Randy Orton and Pat McAfee? Now, it could be McAfee or Jelly Roll.
I think it's going to be Jelly Roll because Jelly Roll has been training for Backlash. Jelly Roll he's made it very clear he wants to be involved in professional wrestling.
How is Jelly Roll involved with ESPN is the question.
It's a big name, and it's a celebrity, man. And that's all ESPN gives a damn about. They want a name that they can put on their TV that is a different audience that they would normally have when it comes to the world of sports. Who is one of those people? Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll's a big enough name, a giant star in the music world, had already had plans for Backlash.
Yeah.
Clearly, he has the date available.
Yeah.
There it is. And guess what? Jelly Roll loves human monies.
And ESPN has been very desperate this week. You saw who they just brought back.
I mean, it's
Skip
very,
Bayless.
They're very desperate.
It's very, I mean, God, I, again, want to be very surprised, and I want to be wrong here because I think with the incorporation of ESPN, we are going a much more Hollywood route, guys.
And I don't like it.
We are going a much more Hollywood route. So much so that it ain't going to surprise me when Triple H is no longer the head of creative in WWE by the end of 2026.
Even though they gave him a long-term extension.
That doesn't matter, man.
I agree with you.
I think ESPN and TKO have their nails so dug in to WWE that you want John Cena to make an announcement that's going to change the landscape of professional wrestling. You go out there and go, hey,
but would they do it if it was not in Tampa Bay? Would John Cena even be there in the first place to give the announcement if it wasn't in Tampa Bay, Florida?
Yeah, because they're going to give him $2 million to show up and talk about Club WWE.
All right, fair enough.
That's nothing for them. So yes, John Cena is going to be there. And guess what? John Cena, I guarantee you, he's a smart dude. He wants to be involved in ESPN and TKO.
I'm sure he does.
Guess what? Down the road, let's say for whatever reason, John Cena and all the action movies and all that stuff falls by the wayside. Guess what he does? He goes on to ESPN, and now you have John Cena as your pro wrestling correspondent for ESPN.
That's what's going to happen.
Yep. Sideline reporting type.
Again, it's one of those things where I get and I see and understand everything that they're doing from the business side. I get it. And it's smart on their part. But as a wrestling fan, it's bleeding too much into it. And if Jelly Roll comes out as Danhausen's partner, and you guys know, I love Danhausen. Danhausen is one of the guys where I am.
For all that we know, he could be cloning himself as the tag team partner or something supernatural.
Who knows? And guess what? He could also pull the ultimate swerve and be like, you know, John Cena's here, so come on down. And Cena's music hits, and it's John Cena, but it's the Invisible Man because you can't see him.
Yeah.
You know, it could be something like that. And honestly, I'd rather have that than have Jelly Roll come out.
Okay.
I honestly rather will. But, okay, take that away, whoever the partner is. There's no way Danhausen doesn't win this match.
I
correct?
agree with you. The baby faces triumphant victory here. And of course, the next match we'll talk about here, Asuka versus Io Sky. To me, they are going to put Io Sky over like $1 million. Io Sky is going to win this match. She's going to defeat Asuka. I'm kind of looking forward to this match. I don't expect it to be very long, but I believe they're going to push Io Sky to the moon. So that's who I expect to win this match.
Do you feel, and this is kind of the way I feel, I think Asuka might be one of the biggest ball drops
Yes.
that WWE's had in the past couple of years.
Yes.
Just because of the fact that they built her as an unstoppable monster in NXT. She gave up the belt being undefeated. I mean, she is truly, honestly, one of the best, I'm not even going to say female professional wrestlers. She's one of the
nice.
best wrestlers that WWE had the opportunity to get, and I think they dropped the ball.
Fair enough.
Do you agree or disagree?
I think wouldn't define it as a ball drop because I believe she'll be a WWE Hall of Famer one day. Do I believe she's gotten the push in recent years that she may like to have had? I don't think so, but I don't think it's an entire ball drop.
I also
don't either,
think,
though.
I mean, listen, I get what you're saying and I agree with you because I think a lot of times it doesn't matter who the wrestler is, what WWE does with them. Sometimes the WWE universe decides if it's going to work or not.
Yep.
And I think when Asuka made her main roster debut, the people that were wrestling fans were like, "Oh, hell yeah." And the people that were WWE fans were like, "What?"
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I think sometimes, because I think she's a very good wrestler, but it's tough to market.
That's
She's
true.
tough to market.
Yeah, she is.
She's not great on the mic.
No.
She doesn't really she doesn't come off as intimidating.
No.
But then you see her wrestle and you go, damn,
No.
she's
She
really
can
good in
go.
the
She can
ring.
go.
You know, so I think a lot of it is the WWE universe making that decision for WWE. So yes, I give that. But I just think there was so much more they could have
She
done.
appeals to the fans when you're saying that just watch everything in wrestling, AEW, WWE. But if you only watch WWE, you're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, dude, that's it. Okay, like I think that Asuka is one of the perfect examples that I think she would do better in AEW.
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding me? Kenny Omega's there. Kenny
Yeah.
Omega loves Japanese professional wrestling,
Exactly,
particularly on
yeah.
the women's side.
And I think she's one of those folks that, like, for whatever reason, if she got released or asked for her release, she goes to AEW and really
She wins the
kills it.
would world title probably
So
immediately.
I do have a
Almost
question.
immediately,
Talking
yeah.
about somebody who got released, do you think Kairi Sane would go to AEW?
Yeah, I do.
I think so too.
All right.
Yeah.
And I think her
That was my
style of
question.
wrestling fits in very well there. And I think she has the look to do it over there. I was always interested to see what Kairi Sane could do on her own. They
Yeah.
always put her with somebody. They always put her in the group or with Bailey or with Asuka or whatever they were doing. I think that she has an opportunity now, which again, this is another one of those WWE releases, which is good for her because they clearly had no plans for her.
nothing to do with
none.
that.
They're like, you're going to be with her. You're going to be with her. You're going to be with her. So this is a great opportunity for her to showcase her talent. But with this match here, I think this again has an opportunity to be a sleeper match.
I
Because
agree.
you have two talents in the ring where once that bell goes ding, 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 it's on and they are going to put on a show.
Yep.
And especially in a PLE like Backlash where there's not a whole lot going on. Okay.
Yep.
I think this is the opportunity for them to really, really shine.
Yep.
And they got a great opportunity to do so tonight at Backlash in Tampa.
I agree with you. And of course, the next match, Braun Breaker versus Seth Rollins. Braun Breaker being accompanied by Paul Heyman. And of course, I believe Braun Breaker will win this match. He's going to get a big win coming back off of injury, first pay-per-view back from injury, and eventually down the road, Seth Rollins is going to get his revenge. And I have no doubt that he will avenge this loss. He will get even. However, I believe Braun Breaker will win on his first pay-per-view back from injury with no doubt. Now, Paul Heyman had a lot of interaction last night on SmackDown.
Sure did.
With
Hated it.
Cody Rhodes and Gunther, and it looks like the favor that needs to pay back to Gunther is a title match, as I predicted on the show, will be against Cody Rhodes in Clash in Italy. So it looks like Cody Rhodes and Paul Heyman are interacting, and Paul Heyman had a key line. He said, "You need more than you realize. I don't need anything. I'm good." Is basically to sum up that entire line. Now, some people believe that Cody Rhodes and Paul Heyman will pair up together at some point. It could happen. It could happen. It could happen. I'm not saying this is not going to happen, but
do you want it to happen?
I think Paul Heyman, if he becomes a babyface and you give him to the enlightened side, like, yeah, it's great. All these people have wronged me, and now finally I've changed the era of my ways. And Cody's kind of that beacon of light that he brings Heyman back to the surface. You know, Heyman and Dusty have had a great history with one another. But Cody turning heel's the obvious. Everyone's always going to say Cody's going to turn heel.
Yeah.
Everybody. It's just the same thing they do with Cena and Roman. But why not do it the other way? The enlightenment of Heyman. We've seen Heyman for so long be the same guy that Heyman's always been.
But he does that still well, though, right?
He does do it great. He's very good at it. But Brock's retired now. Roman's turned on him. Punk's turned on him. He's all alone at some point. He won't have anybody else. Well, is it really more that Heyman needs Cody to be relevant? Or does Heyman really need Cody to be relevant?
That's a quick question. Point. Did Roman really turn on Paul, or did Paul turn on Roman?
It's a valid question. But he believes that Roman has wronged him. See, the heel always believes that the babyface has wronged them. No matter what.
The heel is always right.
The heel's always right.
That's what makes them a heel. Okay. That the heel is always right, no matter what. A babyface will admit his wrongs and admit his mistakes. A heel never believes that he is in the wrong. Right. That's what makes him a heel.
Exactly.
Yep.
So Heyman never believes he's in the wrong.
Now, I've got a theory.
Okay.
This was not the favor. Okay?
Okay.
The favor was Gunther and Brock. And Brock retired. Legit retired for whatever the hell reason that may be. And I still believe that's why he threw up the X to Heyman and basically said, I know I'm going off script, but I'm done. Like, Oba beat me. I'm done. I'm wrapping it up. I'm throwing up the X. And this was WWE's pivot. I still believe, and maybe we'll see it on an episode of Unreal in the next year or so. But in my eyes, I believe this was the pivot that WWE had to do because the original plan and the thing that makes sense. Because right now,
I agree.
Cody could have asked this quote unquote favor to Nick Aldis, to Adam Pearce, to Stephanie McMahon. The whole Paul Heyman owes him a favor means nothing. The favor was give me Brock. That was the favor. Okay.
Yep.
Brock retires, got a pivot. Okay,
give me a title match.
Cody gets the title shot. It involves Heyman, which people love. It involves Gunther, which is, I mean, he is just tearing through everybody. And it involves Cody Rhodes. Here's why this works so well and works so well in Clash in Italy. Okay.
Well, Gunther's a big star in Europe.
I was gonna say, you put Gunther on there. It's a big European star. You get it. It's going to be a home match for him. Course, he's going to have the fans. Plus, you put Paul Heyman in there and Cody, because now you get people, nobody's going to care if they boo and go after Cody.
Right.
Because everybody can fall back on he was just kind of thrown into this. And Paul Heyman set this up, and we just want to people are going to want to watch Gunther beat the hell out of Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
And we're going to see it. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling it's going to be very reminiscent of the Rumble match with AJ Styles.
There you go.
Gunther is just going to beat the ever-living hell.
But except Cody wins Rhodes. Instead of Gunther.
But Cody's going to pull off somehow, some way. Will it be some sort of interference? Will it be some sort of goofy finish? But I think you are going to see, for the first time in a long time, Cody Rhodes get the absolute hell kicked out of him.
Yeah, I agree.
And then that might set up the rematch at SummerSlam, where he will lose the belt to Gunther. That's what I think happened. I could be completely wrong, but it's the only thing in my brain that makes sense. Because favor had to be
Brock at SummerSlam in Minneapolis.
Give me Brock. Yep. I mean, that's what it had to be. But again, I could be wrong. I'm sitting here. I'm not in the writer's room. I don't know how that process goes, with the exception of what I've seen on Unreal.
Yep.
Regardless, I'm excited for this. This will give me something to go, okay, Clash in Italy.
It adds intrigue. The mystery partner adds intrigue to the Danhausen, Kit Wilson, and Miz match.
Yeah. Now, here's Willie in the chat room says this, and I'm curious as to your thought there. Paul Heyman needs to be a heel. He's not a natural babyface. He would have to work to be a babyface. Again, as a heel, it's not that people hate you. It's people love to hate you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think Paul Heyman brings that out in people. Like, I remember the days when Paul Heyman was coming out and just ripping on fans, and fans would boo the hell out of him with a smile on their face.
Sure.
because they're like, this is awesome. He's so good.
Yeah.
F you, but you're so good. As a baby face, it just comes off as a little weird, right?
I don't think it comes off as weird if you do it right.
I guess so. I guess I'm just so not used to seeing babyface Paul Heyman. Like, I think he just fits into that heel character.
Yeah, remember when
so
Cornette
well.
was a babyface against Heyman in 1988?
Yep.
Yeah, it's situational. You can make it situational if you do it right with main eventers.
I'm interested to see, and to be honest with you, if you want me to be interested in a Cody Rhodes storyline at all, throwing Paul Heyman in
it definitely adds interest. That's why I like it.
Yep.
I wasn't interested in Cody at all, really.
No,
I haven't been.
No.
You know, the whole back and forth with Cody and Punk, you know,
And-
when they were like,
yeah.
you name a time and a place. I'm like, here we go again. Now,
Kind of
you
glad
throw-
Punk's off of TV, though.
Yeah.
It clears the way a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of thought that for a second too. I'm like, where the hell does he go? Where does he
Yeah.
fit in all
No
this?
Punk, no
And you know
Randy.
what?
There's a lot of space right now.
Yep.
I
give him
wouldn't
some
mind a
time.
Punk Roman rematch at SummerSlam. You know, they'll typically do a rematch from WrestleMania at SummerSlam, keep Punk off of TV, have Punk and Roman do a rematch. That wouldn't be a bad thing.
I agree with you. I would be interested in that as well. I just think that, you know, Cody Rhodes is a little bit of the I call it Cena fatigue,
Yeah.
you know, being jammed down our
I
throats.
agree.
And I think this is a way to get me interested while also still not going, hey, Cody, we don't got nothing for you.
Okay. And that's fine. Of course, the next match, Trick Williams will defend the United States Championship against Sami Zayn in a rematch. SmackDown was brutal last night. I got a lot of thoughts about this. I love Little Yachty, and it was great seeing him in the gingerbread suit. But, man, the gingerbread man, this is an example of when the WWE writers get a little carried away, and all of a sudden they hear something, they hear a verbal jab, and how do we maximize the value on this to the point we got the gingerbread man on TV every week?
Yeah.
It was all over SmackDown. The funeral of the gingerbread man. Man, this is how they're incorporating AI into
Real.
creative, as everyone keeps talking about, because all I'm seeing all night long is a gingerbread man AI and all these great wrestling moments. All of a sudden I'm seeing a gingerbread man, and then we get the funeral of the gingerbread man.
Rip.
God, this was so rotten on so many levels. Oh my God. And then Sami Zayn comes out and cuts the best promo I've ever heard in his career of, oh my God, this is what we were all thinking the entire time of this entire show. And the heel is right. And listen, I love Sami. He's like a heel not being a heel. I'm misunderstood. I'm frustrated. I get no respect. I'm a little squirrely. What's going on here? It's not fair. I don't understand what the heck's going on here. Why are we all it's just he couldn't understand it.
Yeah.
And then he's going in the ring, and poor Trick Williams has got to sit there with the mic. He's got the choir. He's got everything. And poor Trick, he's sitting there. He doesn't know what to say. I'm like, what am I doing here? I got Little Yachty in a gingerbread suit, and I'm sitting here and having to milk this all night long. God, I got to make the best out of this rotten creative. And then Little Yachty comes out with the gingerbread looking kendo stick for some odd reason, and then he's hitting Sami Zayn with it, and all of a sudden we've established Little Yachty and Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn. The rematch is fine. Everybody knew Carmelo Hayes gets a rematch. Sami Zayn gets a rematch. Would have been enough and would have been great heated confrontation, but instead bogged down by rotten creative with this gingerbread nonsense that is come over the place. I'm surprised Trick Williams didn't come out of a gingerbread house of how much they kept talking about this on SmackDown.
It was wild.
But y'all act like SmackDown hasn't been corny before, though.
I mean, I know.
Okay, this is like Mick Foley, This Is Your Life, but to a whole
Like,
new level.
Like, I'm not saying it's great, but SmackDown always has been corny to me.
This is so bad.
To be honest with you, and like after watching SmackDown last night, I go, do you remember when go home shows were like bangers, man?
Yeah.
A go home show, the go home Raw and SmackDown, and I'm talking as early as 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
They used to be the shows that you could miss all month long. But if
can
you
catch up.
watched the go
Yes.
home Raw and the go home SmackDown, you were not only caught up as to what was going to happen in the PLE, but they had like the final stamp of approval. This was unnecessary. I'm sorry. I love Trick Williams. I
do
like
too.
Sami Zayn, but I think Trick Williams needs to get the hell out of this comedy scene.
Yeah,
Let
this is
Trick
rotten.
Williams be awesome. He's awesome. Let him be
Yeah.
that way. We don't need to have him with this, jokey, celebrity, funny funeral. Like, stop.
It was so
After
bad.
this feud with Sammy, you got to take him and make him legit. Okay.
Yeah.
I want them to book him like they used to book Booker T.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason I'm saying that is because I think they, from a physical standpoint,
Yeah.
as far as their move set and from the way that the fans
I agree.
react to them,
him.
you can do that. Look at the fun, silly stuff that they did, Booker T and Stone Cold in the grocery store.
Yeah.
That was silly and funny and ridiculous, but it wasn't.
But there's action. This had no
Right.
action in except
Right.
Lil Yachty hitting the dude with the candy cane. I mean, come on. I wanted heated confrontation. How about we go out there and just have a verbal spat and Lil Yachty getting his?
I mean,
And instead, Lil Yachty doesn't talk at all. And all this is him coming out of a gingerbread suit and let me hit you with a candy cane kendo stick. It's just everything. This is the writers getting carried away. They hear, oh, gingerbread man, it got a nice little reaction, a quick little verbal quip, a little verbal jab. And now we're going to milk it for all that it's worth. And we'll use a little AI. Why not have the gingerbread man glitter all over the show? So this is how they're using AI and creative for those who don't know. They've been talking about
WWE got roasted last week for the AI creative they used for the Zarya Sol Ruka vignette. They got destroyed. I mean, did anybody see that?
I did. Yeah.
I mean, it didn't even look like Sol
No.
at all.
No.
Like it was like, I'm just telling you, we know
Looks like
personally.
Ruka's on the main roster now. She's with Becky
Ruka
Lynch.
looks like.
And
I was gonna say, we know people that work in the AI creative
We do.
scene. You can do it and make it look good. That was not done well.
no.
And people called them out for it. But again, I mentioned that the go-home shows were supposed to be really great shows. And like Willie says, SmackDown last night was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing. The day before a pay-per-view, you're going to put that out?
That was the main event of the show.
Which is
We closed
crazy,
out on the
dude.
funeral of the gingerbread man.
Yeah,
that was the
that's
main
what
event of the show.
I didn't understand.
It was crazy, man. Hey, before we keep going, before
Sure.
we get into, and I know we're going to talk about the main event
Of
here in a
course.
second, but like, what are your guys' thoughts right now currently on the Oba Open Challenge?
I don't like it. I hate it. Why would anybody go out to challenge Obafemi? He looks so powerful and so intimidating. Why would anybody do it?
Dude, you just read my brain because when at first I was like, okay, cool. They took it away from Carmelo Hayes in the U.S. title. Now they're going to give it to Oba. Okay, cool. But then you're going to try and tell me that somebody watches Oba beat Brock Lesnar and then they're going to be in the back and they're going to go, I could take him on. No, nobody in their right mind would go out there and accept this open challenge. Nobody.
They don't know what they're doing with them.
Oba, that's my point. They don't know what to do with
Here-
it.
here's the-
Bored
here's-
as shit, bro. They're
ahead.
just bored. They're
Here's
just
the
bored.
answer that they should have done. They made a title change with Penta too quickly, and then Penta gets it in March. And then Penta's got to retain this because we don't want a short title reign at WrestleMania. Penta sells a lot of merch. What should have happened was a heel should have beaten Penta at WrestleMania, and then
Like
you go on
Rusev.
Raw, and Oba goes out there. I'm the ruler. I'm going to go everything. The IC, and then he goes after the Intercontinental Champion. We got an immediate confrontation on Raw. I beat you the next night on Raw for the Intercontinental Championship. He has the IC belt for the next 6 months to a year,
Open
like they did
challenge.
with Gunther, like they did with Braun.
Yep.
Do something with him, have him with the title on PLEs, but instead it's just open challenge squash matches on Raw, and they're going to do it until they can get the title off of Penta, and then they can find something for Oba eventually. They'll
Yeah,
have Rusev
he-
take it from Penta.
He said it. That's a great point. Like
So
if you,
Rusev should have won on
That's it.
WrestleMania, like I said.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
I
he
think
should have. Now looking back at it,
Yeah.
he should have.
Rusev versus Oba. I mean, listen, I
Like
still
I've been
think Oba
saying.
destroys him, but believable. That's how you can't. Okay, if it's
They should have
Oba
had a
versus
better heel in
Penta,
the
it's
match.
over. If it's Oba versus Penta, I will put my entire paycheck on
On
Oba.
Oba.
You know, any day of the week. I don't think Penta stands a chance. But Oba versus Rusev, maybe. But I think they got to figure out something to do with him because maybe during this open challenge, maybe Penta comes out and challenges him, and then Oba beats the hell
Why
out
would
of
the
him. and then they
champion
set it up.
challenge
Yeah,
a
why would-
challenger
yeah.
that
Why
doesn't
not?
make any
Well,
sense?
But how else are you going to introduce Oba into any type of title
At some point, he'll
picture?
get angry. He's like, all these chump opponents, I want some gold. I want to go, and then he
Yeah.
gets angry at some authority figure, and then you can milk a match.
This is a great point in the chat here. An open challenge without a title is a heel move.
And
I
he's
agree
always
with
Are
you.
they
heel or
pushing
face right
Oba to
now.
be heel?
No.
Why? There's
Why?
no way you should
He's
do
faces. Everybody loves him.
that.
I agree.
Everybody.
I agree.
And then if you are going to do an open challenge with Oba, if you want me to believe it, then you better either debut or return some big names. And if it's going to be Otis, then you're wasting.
I didn't even know Otis was still
precious
employed
time.
with the company.
You are wasting precious
Man,
time.
Them bands have
Stupid.
stayed for a
was
minute. I don't
so
know
bad.
how.
Oh, my
I
God.
don't get it, man. I really don't.
I don't
get
like
it.
the Oba Open Challenge.
I think that they have gold on their hands and they are dropping.
They are.
I mean, we are seeing professional athletes doing the boo, like roll with it. Do something with them, man. Figure it out. Spend a little bit less time in the writer's room trying to figure out AI gingerbread men and try and figure out what you're going to do with
You're
the
exactly right,
cash cow that you have on your roster.
I agree with you. Oba should be going after gold.
He
You have
should
too many
be.
belts.
The
Use the
man
belts.
is gold.
Utilize them.
The man is gold.
Yeah, give them gold.
By the way, real quick, hold on before you move on. Ryan,
Sure.
tell me the tag team champions right now. The men's tag team champions of the WWE.
Is it still Damian Priest and R-Truth?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
Holy
Mhm.
moly! You
And I
only
think
reason
it's
I knew
Theory
that
and
is
Paul on the other show.
It is. Who cares about either of them?
Oh yeah, Logan Paul and
Right.
Austin Theory.
And
they
now they're
haven't
trying
had
to
a
make-
match.
Now
in a
they're trying to
tag
make
match.
Logan Paul and Joe Henry do stuff. Like, again,
That's
I
They're
right.
don't
tag team
care.
That
champions,
was so
though, right?
rotten.
I don't care.
They buried Joe Hendry. He goes. Logan Paul has a line. TKO won't fire me because I make the money. And then Joe Hendry's like, oh.
You
And
know
he
what?
knows he's right, though. He knows he's right. The heel is right. What comeback can you have for that?
Dude, somebody in the chat says if they do this wrong, they'll end up with another Ryback.
Maybe. Now,
I
is
think-
Obafemi as reckless as Ryback?
No, I think Oba's a little bit more
I
buttoned
think-
up
I
than
think
Ryback
Oba can
is.
wrestle better than Ryback too.
I
I
agree
think
with
he
you.
can
better.
too. I think he can too. But I think what they're referring to is they had no plans with Ryback.
at all. And he
Except
was-
for they knew they had
but
a
Cena and
monster.
Punk didn't like him. And
Yeah,
that
he was
hurts.
hurt.
That
hurting
hurts.
people.
I mean, that does hurt. And he was hurting people, which is not
That's
great.
true.
That's a real quick way to get
Yeah.
your push killed.
Oba's
Sure.
pretty safe.
He is very safe. So let him be safe with names and not Otis and
should've
not
been throwing Rusev
Tozawa.
around or
Like, come on, man. What the hell are we
Where
doing?
has Sheamus been?
That's
I
what
would-
I'm saying. He could return at Backlash.
That would be
I
great,
would have been
dude. That would be
Sheamus
great.
versus Oba. I'd love to see
Sheamus
that.
versus
good
Oba
one.
is a great match. I know a lot of people are calling for Omos, but I'm like, you just can't do
Stop,
Giant because
stop,
Giant.
stop.
is
I don't
for
want to
two
see
big
two
dudes.
giant.
No,
black guys
I
fight.
want
I'm
it-
cool.
They're
And,
equal size.
almost needs work.
He does.
Almost is almost there. Like,
I don't think he'll ever get there.
I don't know, man.
I don't think he'll
know.
ever get there. But
But-
speaking of which, we'll get to the main event.
love
Roman
this.
Reigns will defend the World Heavyweight Championship against Jacob Fatu. Obviously, it's in Florida. Roman Reigns is from Pensacola, Florida. Big Samoan population. So I have no doubt that this is the right decision to have this main event on this show here. Roman Reigns is going to retain, but people are a little upset that Roman does not want to go to Saudi Arabia. He is throwing his kind of, what do we call it, Hogan's stroke on this show?
Yep.
Or like, I don't want to go.
Yep.
And then fans are like, oh, is he having problems with TKO? Or is
He's
it
got-
just
he's
the
a-
fact
he's
that
got a
Roman doesn't
little-
want to go?
He's got a little Hogan Reigns in him.
Yeah, right. I
Hogan
just-
Reigns.
There you go.
Or is it
I just don't
Roman
wanna go to
Hogan?
Mania.
Is it Hogan Reigns or is
Hulk
it Roman
Roman?
Hogan?
I think it's great.
I like Roman Hogan, but
I don't mind Roman Reigns not going to Saudi Arabia if he doesn't want to.
timing is weird on this because they let go of MFTs.
I don't think
Okay.
Roman cares one. If Roman wanted him there, they would have been there.
I agree with you, but I think because of the timing, this is why people are going, well, he's upset with TKO.
But that's not the right reason to be upset. If you're going to be an upset fan, okay, fine. Roman Reigns not going to be on a pay-per-view. I'm upset about that. And maybe he was supposed to be on it. Don't be upset because it's like, oh, he's getting pushed great this year. How could he be upset about the creative? He won the Royal Rumble and just won the world title at WrestleMania. How could he be upset about the creative? So you can eliminate that. He's got nothing but roses in creative this year. What a year for Roman Reigns. And not to mention, he's got all of his family on the roster. Got Jacob Fatu. He's got the Usos, Solo Sikoa, all in prominent featured spots. They were littered all over SmackDown. And how could he be upset about that? Now, the cash, maybe the WrestleMania payoff wasn't so great. Maybe he's mad about the money. Sure, everybody gets mad about the money. But maybe he just don't want to go to Saudi Arabia, and people are a little upset of, oh, we kind of wanted to see Roman on the show. And that's really why they're upset more than just, oh, we're upset because Roman Reigns is mad at TKO.
Can I just say this? I mean, when you are Brock Lesnar, when you are John Cena, when you are CM Punk, when you are Roman Reigns, and you are the top, and you have worked your ass off to get there, you get special treatment.
I'm sure.
You're the star
Sorry.
player, man.
Sorry.
You're
This
the
has
star.
happened forever in wrestling.
Yes.
Let's go back to a WrestleMania, the WrestleMania where they took the ring carts down to the ring.
Yeah.
The wrestlers didn't do that because it was cool. They did it because Andre the Giant couldn't walk.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
every wrestler was in these like jack lifts that looked like mini rings that they drove to the ring to drop the wrestlers off. Andre the Giant said, "You want me at Mania? That's how you get me at Mania." He got special treatment. When you're Roman Reigns and you say, "Hey, I'm not going to Saudi Arabia," there's a place for Roman Reigns to say that and for WWE to go, "Okay, thanks for the heads up." Because now we can write accordingly. And there's a way to do all of this and do it right. But when you are Roman Reigns, somebody who, hate him or love him, has done everything the company has asked of him, okay? Came back from leukemia, dropped the belt, did this, did that, lost, cleaned, walked out, all of it. He's got this clout.
He's
He
the biggest box office attraction of the
my tribal chief.
2010s. He's main evented 11 WrestleManias, Ryan.
I acknowledge him.
11, yo.
And
11.
if that means I'm acknowledging him sitting in his sweet ass home in the States while everybody else goes to Saudi, I'm acknowledging him still.
I don't blame,
I don't
Willie
blame him
said, I
either.
don't blame him.
But tell me how this match is going to go tonight, because to be honest
Roman
with
Reigns
you,
going to win in his sleep.
guess what?
Yeah.
I don't care about this match. This is the main event tonight, and I will probably be tuned out,
Yeah.
and I will be
If
already
you were
doing
booking
something
this, I would have
else.
booked this match. If it was in Florida,
I would
Roman
too.
Reigns
Of course,
is there.
Yeah.
Book it. Roman's
Of
going to get a
course.
babyface response. A lot of Samoan population there. I'm sure the Usos are going to come out. This is the match you book in Tampa Bay, Florida. You just do. You may not care about it, but this is the match I would book. I think it's a compelling match. Jacob Fatu looks scary. And even if Jacob loses his match to Roman, he's main eventing in this match. At least he feels more like a main eventer. It's not going to hurt Jacob.
Who's going to be treated as the heel during this match?
Probably. Well,
See? And that's how I
Roman's
thought.
going to get a babyface response, but so probably will Jacob, since they're so happy to see this match.
Yeah.
Go all out with it.
Willie also says that Roman is on serious medication for leukemia, so there's probably something in his contract that says, like, at any point I have the ability to say no thanks.
I agree.
And this is one of those opportunities where he's saying
No
thanks,
thanks.
but no thanks. No thanks.
I don't
good
mind it.
here. I'm good here.
I'm not mad. I don't blame him.
It's okay.
I don't blame
it's
him.
going to be okay, everybody. He's not going to Saudi. It's one match. It's 4 hours of your life. He'll be back the very next week. My
Show up on Monday.
question for you guys here,
Sure.
though, is this a poorly booked PLE?
No.
You think this is
Because
you think this is well
Yes,
booked?
I do, because you get a rematch that Sami Zayn gets his rematch. Jacob Fatu is going to main event in Tampa Bay, Florida. You get an all-Samoan main event in Tampa Bay, Florida. That's exciting for the crowd there. You got Danhausen with a mystery partner. That's intriguing. Io Sky and Asuka. That's a nice match. You got Braun Breaker on the show. No, this ain't a poorly booked PLE.
And it's
What-
only 5 matches.
It's only 5 matches.
Yeah.
It's going to be a quick show. I don't hate that at all. I
No.
think that's great. Do you so looking at the main event here, do you think that Jacob Fatu is probably the most believable opponent for Roman
Yes,
right now?
I do. I think
Right now,
Jacob
yeah.
Fatu is one of the most believable opponents in all of WWE. He is
Mhm.
darn good.
Where do you rank Roman's OTC? I hate to call it a gimmick, but let's just call it the OTC run. Where do you rank that as far as gimmicks in the history of professional wrestling?
Tie up.
It's
Tie
gotta
up
be
because he's
way
one of the
up
biggest
there,
box
right?
office attractions
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
thing
it's
up there.
definitely got to be up there. How is Solo involved in this? Where do we see
I don't
him
think we
play
see
out?
Solo. Maybe the Usos come out and interfere, and Jacob has an out. I don't want a crummy finish. I don't want just Jacob wins by DQ and all that. It could happen, but okay.
I like Fatu kind of doing his version of the mandible claw or whatever the hell you
love
want
it.
to call it.
Tongan
Like,
death grip.
yeah, the Tongan death
I
grip.
love it.
I
I
love
hate
it
the
too.
headbutts though. That nervous tick that he has when he headbutt guys, that
Yeah.
bothers me.
I don't love that. And I will tell you that this is one of my favorite things about Jacob Fatu, though, is the fact that, like, when he does certain things, like, I know the other guy is selling. I know he's, really laying it in or whatever. There are times where I watch and I go, damn, I think he's hurting him. Like, Jacob Fatu to
That's a
me is
scary
that
guy.
guy
He's
where I believe him,
menacing.
where I'm like, you are a psycho. You are crazy.
Yeah.
You are a monster, and I believe
His
in you.
promos are believable. I believe he would say the things that he says in his promos. I
Mhm.
really believe he believes
Yeah.
that.
I watch a lot of Jacob Fatu interviews and stuff on other podcasts, and like he actually really cares for his family. So I feel like those promos are real.
Of course.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. Well, we're excited about it tonight. Again, Backlash. It is on ESPN. The first hour of the show is on for free on ESPN2. I love that they're doing this, and I hope they continue to do this for all of the PLEs. I will be honest with you, though. It is still weird to me turning on, because in my office, in my full-time gig during the week, when we get into the office, we turn it on ESPN and ESPN
Are you surprised
News.
seeing WWE featured a lot on First Take?
Everywhere, man. Every day this week for a long period
For
of time.
Backlash, so not for WrestleMania, not
Right.
for SummerSlam.
For a what we consider a quote unquote secondary PLE, they are laying into it. And it's interesting.
I
And
do
we'll-
think Stephen A gets involved with WWE in the
I do
calendar
too.
year.
I do
He
too.
loves
for
it though.
sure.
They all love it. The
Yeah.
celebrities love doing it more than the people do watch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They love it. They absolutely love it. But
If I was
I
a celebrity, I'd love to be on WWE.
Exactly.
we will talk about this at a different episode, because I mean there are times where there's kind of
Sure.
a lull in wrestling where we can have some things to talk about, but I would love to hear from sports fans that watch ESPN for scores and highlights, and now they're being force-fed all this WWE stuff. It's got to be pissing some people off.
I know it.
So I'm interested to see what that looks like. Give 2-3 years into this relationship where they're still doing this, and now ESPN has all of a sudden turned into MTV. The music videos, sports and sports highlights are gone, and now you're getting all this scripted programming, because that's kind of what it feels like almost, that we're kind of going that direction. So
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how that relationship with ESPN and TKO continues to blossom. But again, pay-per-view tonight, Backlash live from Tampa on ESPN Unlimited. Make sure you check out the first hour live on ESPN.
That's right. Of course, AEW Double or Nothing is coming up May 24th, 2026. It's going to be Queens, New York in the Louis Armstrong Stadium. It's the biggest event AEW has all year. 2 more matches announced this week. We're going to have our official predictions in a couple weeks. But this week, 2 matches were announced. Stadium Stampede, which basically means just a no-rules match. Chris Jericho, Shelton Benjamin, and Bobby Lashley are going up against The Demand, Ricochet, Bishop Khan, and Toa Leona. Toa Leona. God. And you've got more announcements to be made about this match. What a bizarre announcement. I got Jericho and Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin wearing weird, bizarre ball caps and bats like we're some intimidating guys. Like, what? This is silly.
I've made an open decision. I've made an open decision on how I feel about AEW.
Okay.
And this is God's honest truth.
Okay.
I think AEW is either awesome or silly. Okay.
Exactly.
And those are the 2 words. I'm not going to say bad.
No.
I'm not going to say awful. I'm not going to say stupid. AEW is either awesome or silly.
I think it's silly more than awesome at times.
Sure,
Yeah.
but there's no middle ground. Like, I never
No.
watch AEW programming and go, oh, that was okay. I either walk away going, what kind of silly crap was that? Or I go, holy cow, that was awesome.
You know what the middle ground is? Steel cage match. I feel like it's a middle ground.
Okay. Does AEW do that a lot?
No, that's what I'm saying. There's no middle ground.
Yeah, I have no idea, man. It is true.
What happened to the steel cage match? That was the best match stipulation in the history of wrestling. It went away. Poof.
In all forms of
Thumbtacks and
wrestling?
Yeah, gone.
Thumbtacks and gummy bears, man.
I
don't care what you guys say.
Dude,
rotten.
I want, again, and there's part of me where I really want to love AEW, but the reason I just like it is because it's either great or silly to me. And I'll be honest with you, I feel like I should get a little pat on the back here, fella.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be a hair match.
Called something. Yep. We were talking about it last week that there was some sort of stipulation.
Yeah.
What was going to be put on the line for MJF and Darby Allin. And I said, MJF, big in Hollywood. He's taken on a lot of movie roles. It might be good for him to put his hair on the line. And I remember you even went, okay, boom. That's exactly what it is. And I absolutely think it's hysterical.
At least it's not the stupid stipulation. I'll never challenge again if I lose. At least we got somewhere. Maybe it's a win-win for me. Either we're going to see MJF win the world title, which would be great because that means we get MJF and Ospreay in Wembley.
Yeah.
Or we get Darby shaving MJF's head.
And to be honest with you, I'm interested in that. I think that'd be hilarious. Seeing MJF get his hair shaved.
Oh.
Now, I'll tell you one thing. We were talking about celebrities in WWE and, is Jelly Roll the mystery partner and whatnot. Have you seen Kevin Nealon and his involvement in AEW?
I have a little bit.
So Kevin Nealon all of a sudden randomly went onto X and he posted, hey, AEW at WWE, I would love to wrestle Danny DeVito in the ring. And Tony Khan responded and said, okay. And now Kevin Nealon is actively tweeting at AEW wrestlers. And he did an AI of MJF bald and tweeted it. And MJF responded and said, damn it, not you, Kevin. And I just think it's great. This is the way I think celebrities should be used. Have them go on socials and create that interaction. Put them in the front row.
Do you think they actually book Kevin Nealon in a match?
I don't think they book him in a match, but hell, why would you not put him on TV? Okay.
He wants to be.
I am a 40-year-old guy who is a wrestling fan. If you tell me that Saturday Night Live alumni Kevin Nealon is going to be at AEW in whatever fashion, I'm at least going to check out the clips online.
Me too.
I might not download get the pay-per-view, but I'll definitely get caught up and see how Kevin Nealon was involved in AEW. It's Kevin Nealon, damn it.
Yeah.
Again, and I think Willie really called this out pretty well in the chat room. He said, I would never really feel famous as a celebrity until I got involved in WWE.
That's
or
probably
professional
true.
wrestling.
That's why they do it.
This is becoming the I've made it moment is when WWE puts the lower third when you're in the front row. And I think that's a great thing to realize and to keep in mind moving forward with this relationship between ESPN and TKO, because there is a very key word in both WWE and ESPN.
Entertainment.
Zing. So remember that, guys. As much as you want to be a wrestling purist and a pro wrestling purist and go, I miss the matches and I miss the steel cage and I miss when they did this. This is all entertainment. WWE, AEW, TNA, ROH, doesn't matter what it is.
I thought the E and
all entertaining.
I thought the E and AEW meant elite.
It did, but I'm saying this is all entertainment.
Yeah, I know.
This is all a television show.
Yeah.
This is all a movie. Nobody
Gingerbread
cares. In all reality, and sorry to disappoint you wrestling fans, nobody gives two damns whether you thought that that match was technically great or not. They give a damn about the money that's in your wallet that you are giving them. And as long as they are getting eyeballs on the product and money is going into their bank account, that is the only thing that they worry about right now. Back in the day, that might have been different. Today, it is a completely different story.
I agree with you.
Boom. I feel better now. I needed to say that. I feel better.
Oh, I think, well, speaking of which, Ted Turner's passed away, the age of 87 this week. Tony Patrico is wearing a WCW shirt in honor of Ted Turner. Let me say this. He was a Maverick. He died at the age of 87. He's a Maverick. I'll tell you this. He founded the first superstation, TBS. He invented multiple companies, digital billboard advertising. Except one company just advertising on a billboard. Multiple companies can share one billboard. Turner Advertising used that money, founded the first superstation. Then some of the first program that was on the superstation was wrestling. And of course, everybody knows him. He owned the Braves. He loved the Braves. He loved the Atlanta Braves. He adored them. He managed a game for the Atlanta Braves once. He had Andy Messersmith wear Channel 17 on the back because it was Channel 17 was the superstation back then. And they were America's team. They could be broadcasted all over the country. He bought the Hawks. He bought every sports team in Atlanta. He owned the Thrashers at one point in time, and he was on top of the world. And he founded the first 24-hour cable news channel, CNN, his most notable accomplishment on cable television. I mean, he was a visionary. He was like the Elon Musk of media of his time. Ted Turner was a maverick. He was ballsy. He was an entrepreneur's entrepreneur. Let me tell you that right now. He founded TNT, Cartoon Network. TV rights was invented by him. Turner Classic Movies bought the MGM movie library. Now, there's something he wanted, obviously. WWE wanted to be on Turner programming. He wanted to share of WWE. Vince said nope. And forever, Ted Turner held that to the ground. And I'll tell you this, his animosity, he's had animosity with a lot of people. Rupert Murdoch, he never let that go to the point where in 1988, he bought Crockett Promotions, I believe, for $9 million. And he called Vince and said, I'm in the wrestling business. And from that on, he tried to compete against Vince, spent a lot of money. And I'll tell you, it was a lot of money. You know, a lot of people told him, please stop this, Ted. God, please stop this. So, it was a lot. But what do we get out of this? Ted Turner gave us the Monday Night Wars because give him Nitro, 2 hours on TNT. Brad Siegel's like, no way. Ted Turner's like, yep, 2 hours TNT. We're going to go up against WWE. Live wrestling, 3-hour wrestling. Thank you, Ted Turner. Ted Turner gave us Thunder. Thank you for that. Because of Thunder, we got SmackDown. So now multiple weekly wrestling programming. Thank you, Ted Turner. Gave us all that. However, the AOL Time Warner merger happened, as we all know. They basically stole the company away from Ted. It was no merger. Ted Turner basically sold Time Warner, Turner Broadcasting. And sure enough, they started tinkering with the creative of WCW in 1998. And of course, by 2001, Jamie Kellner's like, we're pulling the plug on this thing. We're going to sell this pennies to the dollar, pennies on the dollar to WWE for only $2 million. So they took a huge loss, and ultimately Ted Turner could not defeat Vince McMahon like he wanted to. So all of the money that he spent on this AOL Time Warner merger, because remember, WCW was profitable in 1995.
Sure was. And
it was profitable when the merger happened. So WCW was the viable company at that time. 83 weeks, we're beating Vince on the ratings and NWO. And then, of course, AOL Time Warner's like, we got to cut our losses here. We're going to do everything possible. WCW prided itself on being 18 to 49-year-olds. But what happened was when the AOL Time Warner merger happened, they all of a sudden started tinkering with it a little bit. We got to cater more to the teens and preteens like WWE used to do. And Unfortunately,
TNT just didn't want wrestling on their programming. They just didn't want
they
wrestling
didn't want
on
it. Brad
TV.
Siegel didn't want it. Nobody wanted it but Ted Turner. He
Yeah, that
loved
was it.
wrestling.
They just didn't want to do it. I mean, listen, Ted Turner, I'm telling you right now, professional wrestling is not what it is. Ted Turner.
I agree with you.
It just isn't. I mean, like I watched somebody on X over the past couple of days as everybody's kind of giving their thoughts on Ted Turner. Somebody said Ted Turner funded WCW, and the guy cut him off and he goes, "No, Ted Turner didn't fund WCW. Ted Turner believed in WCW."
That's a great answer.
This wasn't him just throwing money at something because we want. He did it because he wanted it to work.
Yeah.
And the only reason, honestly, WCW is not here today
the AOL
is
Time
because
Warner
of the
merger.
merger. WCW would be here and quite possibly might even be bigger than WWE if that merger did not happen.
Yep. Of course, Ted Turner, a heck of a philanthropist, gave over $1 billion to the United Nations. I mean, what a great guy he was. And, he he won the America's Cup as a sailor. He's in the Hall of Fame as a sailor. And, he's a wild, eccentric guy. I'll tell you that right now. Ted Turner's got a heart of gold, but he can be wild and eccentric at times.
I know what your answer on the surface would be. You'd go, 83 weeks in a row, they were better than them. But do you remember any nitros that stand out for you that are light years above and beyond Raw? Like, were there times?
I would say that light years above Raw, there were a couple of them in 96 when Hall and Nash were starting to be introduced. Okay. And I would say when Hogan and Goldberg, when Goldberg beat Hogan, that was a memorable nitro to me. Like, those are the memorable nitro moments. I remember the NWO primarily from that time. I mean, that saved WCW because I think Turner made some mistakes putting Jim Herd in that position and Jack Petrick, and they weren't able to capitalize when they first bought the company. And I think that always put them behind the 8 ball. I think they were always trying to recover because they had the momentum in 88. The Flair and Sting draw in Greensboro. All right, Crockett's having money troubles. I'll buy that thing. I'll buy it. I want wrestling on TBS. Great. Yeah. It'll be awesome. And then they're on Saturday nights. They're in Disney, and I get that's a cost-saving move. But until Hogan got there, they just didn't have a head start. Once Hogan got there, I think things started to change. The first ever Nitro in the Mall of America I thought was awesome. Lex Luger's debut, was intriguing at that time. When you didn't know who was going to be on Nitro, and it was always a surprise every week, that made Nitro also. The Cruiserweight division changed wrestling. We wouldn't have a lot of wrestlers today if it wasn't for the Cruiserweight division.
That's something that people don't really think about all that much, is when you think about the Outsiders and the Invasion, you immediately think Scott Hall walking down in the crowd, jumping in, the match stopping, him getting on the mic and doing his, "Hey, you know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here," blah, 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 blah. But in all reality, that started with Luger.
Yeah, it did.
It started with Luger because Luger's contract expired like the day before, right?
Yep.
And he just let the contract expired. Nobody from WWE reached out to him. And he was talking to Bischoff, and Bischoff said, "Come on over." And he showed up the day after his contract expired live at the Mall of America. I don't think, and I think the chat's right here, I don't think that we have live wrestling on television
every week
if it's not for Ted Turner.
I agree. Not every week we wouldn't.
No, because that's how WWE used to roll. They would tape like 5
we wouldn't have 3 hours on a wrestling show on TV wouldn't be 3 hours. We probably wouldn't even have SmackDown.
No, it would be a half hour, 2 match, couple little clips.
Yeah.
Move on.
It was always an hour 30. It was never 3 hours.
Yeah. Well, all I have to say is, as a WCW guy, because I remember I was a flipper when I was first watching wrestling as a kid. I was a flipper. I remember the previous channel button on my remote was absolutely worn down.
Oh my gosh,
but
Tony.
I'm telling you, but once the Outsiders showed up, once WCW really started to lean into that, I became a WCW first guy. And
when did that change? Was it the finger poke of doom for you when it changed? Okay, now I'm a WWE first guy.
It started to change, and I started to watch more WWE when the NWO had 1,500 members in it.
That's fair.
Because I went, come on, guys. Like, half the damn roster is now in this outlaw group. Stupid. To be honest with you, and listen, you're talking about a kid in 6th grade or whatever. I thought the NWO thing was real. When they lawn darted Rey Mysterio into the side of the truck, I honestly thought that was real. I was like, they just killed a man on television, and I just watched it. And then to see Jimmy Hart run and flail and go, in the middle of a match is going on, and Jimmy Hart comes running out and says, "We need people in the back." That never happened.
Yep.
That to me, I believed it. And I went, holy cow. And then you flip the channel and there's a guy with fake hockey skates in the ring, dropping his glove and trying to fight somebody. I'm like, what the hell is this? Over here, I'm getting real life. Is this cops or is this professional wrestling?
I agree with you.
And over here, I'm getting, is this Cartoon Network or is this professional wrestling?
Yep.
So as a punk ass kid in 6th grade, I leaned towards WCW. So when I saw that Ted Turner had passed, 2 things happened. Number 1, I went, damn, Ted Turner, head of WCW. Oh man, that's a real big bummer. And number 2, I went, Ted Turner was still alive? Because honestly, he's one of those guys where he looked like he was 87 back
That's
in
true.
1993.
That's true.
You know, so
That's
I
true.
remember seeing him front row at Braves games going, that dude's 90. And then you
Yeah.
look and it was like, he was 53 then?
Yeah. My
Like,
dad's
that's
age.
crazy. Yeah, it's wild. So, you know, RIP Ted Turner, influential. And again, the professional wrestling scene,
Not
does
just
not
influential,
look the
not
same.
really in the wrestling business, but in cable television.
Just in general, man.
Yeah.
The man, literally so many things that we are just used to today would not be the case. if it
Founded the
wasn't for
Goodwill
Ted
games.
Turner. It
Founded
would
the
not
Goodwill.
be
A
the
lot of things happening because of Ted Turner. Of course, this week we can't ignore this. Dark Side of the Ring season 7 begins on Vice TV. First episode July 7th at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time with back-to-back episodes, with the topic being the last outlaw himself, Jeff Jarrett. Man, is he making the rounds this year? He's got his documentary
He's locked.
coming out. Now he's on Dark Side of the Ring.
Things are looking up for Double J.
Oh, yeah.
This is the year of Double J, baby.
Yep, part
Mhm.
3 is going to be on July 14th. Of course, and other topics this season include Big Boss Man. Listen, Big Boss Man, Ray Traylor, Big Bubba Rogers' family was interviewed for Dark Side of the Ring. Most people in the business liked him. I hope they tell the Survivor Series 1998 story because it's hilarious, because he was supposed to have a run-in in the main event, but instead he was in the back talking with The Undertaker, and Gerald Briscoe had to hit the chair to Steve Austin instead.
I think that there's enough about Big Boss Man, from him being hung in the ring, him
He had
with
great
the-
matches with Hogan.
with the Big Show and the funeral,
Yes.
like feeding Al Snow his dog. Like,
Yeah.
there are so many interesting stories to really get into, because like I want to know from the Ray Traylor side of things going into those, and I'm sure we're going to get a little.
People
background
loved
from
Ray.
that. I always liked the Big Boss Man. The Big Boss Man was always one of those guys that I loved to hate.
He was
You know,
great in the
would come
ring.
out
He
and
was
be
great
like,
for a big
"Ah,
man.
damn it." You know, and I remember him in like the old school wrestling games when they first started coming out. Big Boss Man was a very integral part of not only WWE, but
WCW. Dusty Rhodes believed in him. Big Bubba Rogers with the Midnight Express. Remember the scaffold match? And then he had great
Yep.
matches with Hogan in WWE. He was excellent. I
I
loved
think-
him in the ring.
I think that the Big Boss Man, and I hope they cover this in the documentary, which I'm sure they will, but like, he was one of those guys. He is a fantastic utility player.
Yeah.
You wanted to put him in the Ministry of Darkness, he could do it. You wanted to put him as a police officer, he could do it.
He's
You
always
wanted to put him as a
believable.
country boy, he could do it. He was really, really good at what he did, and I'm very excited to see that episode.
Of course, this is interesting. Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff, and I think a lot of this episode is going to be about his altercation with Vader in WCW.
Yep.
That will be what
Love
this
that.
episode's about. And the fact is, he was in the main event of the first WrestleMania.
Yep.
And yet, this is mostly going to be about him and Vader.
Yeah. What is your favorite Dark Side of the Ring episode that has aired so far? There's 6
Ooh.
seasons. It's the 7th season, you said?
Yeah.
There's a lot of options there. I have 2 that really stand out for me. Number 1 is Nick Gage.
Oh, that was my worst. That was the worst episode I think they've ever done.
You didn't like that?
Hated it.
I loved
That was
it.
the worst episode I think they ever
Why
done.
did you hate it?
Because nothing about him was likable. Nothing about that he did was likable.
I don't think Dark Side of the Ring is supposed to show you what you're supposed to
That's
like
fair.
about the
That's
guy.
fair. That's fair.
I think it's supposed to be the real stories, the real messed up stories of these people. I knew Nick Gage was a deathmatch wrestler. I didn't know that he robbed a bank, that he did all this.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of that. It is wild, that story. And the other one I think is the plane ride from hell.
that was it. That was
The plane ride from hell is a story that is so wild that to hear the people that were there talk about it, because I've heard that story before and went, no way.
no, it was a good one. Muhammad Hassan's was a
Woo.
good one. Muhammad Hassan's was a good one.
I did like that.
I love that
did
one.
like
I love the
that.
ones
Yep.
that feature Cornette the most. So I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. Montreal Screwjob one was good. Him and Russo going at each other was so funny.
Yep. What about the New Jack one? I thought that
I like
was
the New Jack one because right before he passed, and I think right when it aired, he had just passed away. That was awesome. I really like the New Jack one.
Yep.
I
Was
really
there
did.
was a Sandman one too.
Yeah,
I
there's
thought- I
Sandman,
liked
a lot
that.
of ECW. Kind of glad they're getting away from that this year, but there are some more episodes we got to talk about here. There are, and Another one they're doing, Missy Hyatt. The count now, everyone's gonna count how many affairs has she had. Right? Like the affair counter, like that's all anyone's gonna be counting after this one.
Have you seen like how they're doing on social media now? They do like, WWE stars who have dated each other, and it's like AI.
Missy Hyatt's gonna have a lot of them though. This is gonna be great.
Somebody did a Missy Hyatt one, and it was like 13, and it was like a ton of.
I'm ready for this.
A lot of people don't realize that like things that Missy Hyatt did back then were very salacious, very scandalous, what Missy Hyatt did back then today is nothing.
Yep.
Like it wouldn't even be a big deal. Like, Missy Hyatt crawled so Tammy Stitch Sonny could sprint.
That's fair.
That's pretty much what happened there.
That's right.
But again, I'm very interested to like hear from the people that were there.
Of course.
And I think that's why these are so intriguing. There was some, and I'm sure historically all the info about this, but like there was a Dark Side of the Ring episode about something that happened in Korea where the wrestlers would
collision in Korea.
Okay. I had no interest in that, but to hear Scott Norton talk about it and the way he talks about it, I go, man, I'm in. I can watch these all day long. So I'm interested to see the Missy Hyatt story told from the people that were there.
Zach Gowen. Now I want this to happen. Can we get John Laurinaitis in the documentary talk about how he signed the wrong one-legged wrestler? Is that possible? Can we have that happen?
I mean, I saw that John.
I could not stop laughing.
I saw that John Laurinaitis signed up to do some like shoot interview thing, and I'm like, who wants to hear from this man still? I mean, I just Johnny Ace, I love you to death, buddy. I think you did great while you were here, but like you could just go away. He could go away. Goodbye.
Okay.
Is that what other are those the only episodes?
No. Oh, we got a lot more here. The Renegade. So the Renegade is actually a sad story all around the board. This is going to be maybe one of the saddest episodes all season long. He committed suicide in 1999. So right after he was released from WCW, he killed himself.
See, I know nothing about the Renegade.
Yeah, I mean, neither do
nothing.
I mean, I'm intrigued by this. This was one of those examples where WCW wanted a Road Warrior clone, but it was really Ultimate Warrior, to be honest. But still, Road Warrior, Ultimate Warrior, face paint guy, muscle, Jimmy Hart's idea. Sorry, this is a bad example of it. Demolition was great. They're in the Hall of Fame. This was the story of a bad imitator who could not be the Ultimate Warrior. And that's unfortunate, but it's just the truth. This is not, he didn't have the energy that the Ultimate Warrior had.
Yeah.
Probably could wrestle better than the Ultimate Warrior, though, but he just didn't have the same charisma. We've already seen so much of it by that point. It was just so bogged down that it was unfortunate. But he committed suicide in 1999. So he didn't live a very long life, unfortunately, but I'm interested in seeing this episode about this Road Warrior imitator, Ultimate Warrior imitator, whatever you want to call him. And I'm interested. Jimmy Hart will be in this episode of why the Renegade was on our television. Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan.
Listen, again, those are the episodes I almost go into looking more forward to because I don't know much.
I don't know either.
So like there are some episodes where I'm like, like the Owen Hart episode. I thought it was very well done.
I did too.
I knew everything. So it's just me kind of like getting a refresher. This, I'm going in with fresh eyes. I'm excited to see where they go with it.
I agree. This is the one, this final one here. Necro Butcher versus Samoa Joe. Now, let me talk about this for a second. Dark Side of the Ring. So remember when they did with Foley and Undertaker and the Hell in a Cell over the age? I don't think we're going to hear much from Samoa Joe. This is all going to be about the downfall of the Necro Butcher is my guess of what they're going to do here. This is kind of like what Tony talked about, that Nick Gage flavor, a deathmatch wrestler. For those who don't know, the Necro Butcher was the deathmatch wrestler in the movie The Wrestler that came out in 2008 that faced Mickey Rourke, and he stapled a dollar bill to his head. He had a couple matches in Ian Rotten's Rotten promotion with Samoa Joe back in the day. And, that was maybe the highlight of his career because he was in Ring of Honor, the Necro Butcher. And when they were finalizing the sale to Sinclair, he wouldn't adapt and change his style. So they kind of left him behind. Goodbye, off. And what has he done since? Not much, probably in the sport of wrestling, maybe a couple fan conventions. And he just wouldn't change. And that's on him. I mean, I know I'm like all these people are like, I'm supposed to feel sympathetic for Nick Gage and Necro Butcher. I don't feel sympathetic at all. This is what you chose to do. And this is where you are. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's just where you are. I'm not gonna feel bad for you. This is what you chose. You could have had a bigger career, Necro Butcher. You just chose not to. And I think I hate to say this, it's going to paint Joe in a worse light than he deserves. And I love Samoa Joe. I know he's an acquired taste for some. I know there's some people that don't like Joe's look. They don't like his work in the ring. I've always been a big Samoa Joe fan. He's been wrestling on television for 20 years, for over 20 years. I've always been a big Samoa Joe fan. I just am. And to me, I really wish this didn't paint Joe in a bad light. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't hear from Joe in this. It's going to mostly be about the Necro Butcher. But most people remember the Necro Butcher for being in The Wrestler and his matches with Samoa Joe. So That's kind of the intrigue there. The death match wrestler. He was Nick Gage before Nick Gage's time. He wrestled a lot of his matches barefoot, even though against Joe he wasn't wrestling barefoot. But a lot of his matches he would wrestle barefoot and do all those stunts that you see now. But maybe he was just ahead of his time. I don't know. But that's the final episode here.
So Dark Side of the Ring documentary series that talks about obviously the dark side of professional wrestling.
Huge success for Vice.
A&E has the biography series, and they've had a new season start. And the first episode, it's a two-parter, and it's about the Von Erichs. Have you watched it yet?
I have. The Curse of the Von Erichs. Yep.
I think it's great.
I think it's great also.
I think it was so well done, man. It was so well done. It is definitely the watch. It is, again, this is a documentary where I knew the story.
Yeah,
but
me too.
to really hear from the people that were there and get their take on it, it really, I mean, dude, it's so sad, man. It's
really sad.
But check that out. That's on A&E. Before we get out of here, bro.
Sure.
Before we get out of here.
Sure.
I wanted to bring this up. This is something that I saw one person tweet.
Okay.
And it struck me so strong that I had to bring it up.
Okay.
John Cena is planning on making a historical announcement tonight at Backlash. What if it has something to do with Vince McMahon? Because there's been rumors coming around that Vince wants to get back. He's trying to get back. He's been meeting with folks.
Would you have had the
at
Ted
TKO.
Turner graphic on SmackDown if Vince was really coming back?
That
would not be something Vince would do. If Vince was there, there's no chance that they would have a Ted Turner graphic at the beginning of SmackDown.
But what if he's coming back in a different role? It's not Vince McMahon, the owner of WWE, but what if he is some way, shape, or form involved in the WWE? Now, the reason I bring all this up is, do you think Vince McMahon at some point in the next 5 years is somehow involved in the WWE again?
It's possible. I really do. It all depends on his health and his energy and what he wants to do. And I'm sure he would love to be. There's nothing more that Vince would love to do than be in his office with his dinosaur head and being the CEO of WWE again. That's what he would love to do.
What's stopping him from creating a separate promotion?
Not the same to him.
He's got the money.
He
knows how to do it.
But he's old, and I don't want to spend all the time doing it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just don't think that's in his wheelhouse. I think he loves the WWE so much that it's been in his family for so long, and I know he feels bad about it. I'm sure he regrets a lot of things that he did. I think he goes in the Hall of Fame one day. It's probably going to be after he passes, though, and they'll do something
for
there.
Sure. They're not going to put him in while he's alive.
No, they'll do it after he passes.
Just for the optics of it. They're not going to put him in while he's alive.
And maybe he's on TV, like in the crowd for something, or maybe they have him. Do I think he'll come out and, be a character regularly again on WWE TV? I do not. I think Vince will be used in a lesser role. I think he's still welcome to go to a wrestling event if he wants to. He shouldn't be banned from ever going to a WWE event again, but maybe they don't even pan the camera to him. But I just don't think he'll have an on-screen role. If John Cena, if it's not Club WWE, it could be something else, like some new historical streaming deal, or maybe he announces he's going into the Hall of Fame, or announces somebody's going into the Hall of Fame.
Or maybe they are announcing a new PLE structure, or maybe
just something like that. Just a historical something.
Damn it. You know what else it could be? They might talk about how they're going to have like Rumble or something in Australia.
No, that probably could happen.
In Tokyo.
That could happen.
Because remember, Nick Khan also said, wait till you guys hear what WrestleMania in 2028 is.
A lot of people think it's in Nashville, but I'm starting to think less.
I also am starting to hear the rumor that it might be at the Dome.
That would be huge. Can you imagine that, though?
They would get 100,000 people.
Easily, or it could be in London.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see.
But
Backlash tonight. What time does everything start,
5 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Get the ESPN app. ESPN Unlimited plan. Get the ESPN Unlimited plan. 5 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. That is Backlash in Tampa Bay, Florida.
Do not forget to follow us on our socials. You can find us on X at Wrestling OTS. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Wrestling on the Spectrum. Be sure to follow us on our socials throughout the week. We're posting clips. We have our reactions. Listen, if something really crazy and based on, the mystery partner tonight, based on the Cena's announcement, maybe we'll jump on at some point this weekend and we'll give you our thoughts on that. So you guys can check that out. Follow us on our socials so you are always caught up. We are live every Saturday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube. And of course, you can find us on the podcast. A big thanks to Podcast Heat. And you can find us on there and download it and get caught up. Big thanks to our sponsors, Brown & Crouppen, GetBC.com, for Flying Ryan Swingler, For Brody, the Brain Herman, my name is Tony Patrico, and this was Wrestling on the Spectrum.